Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grimflayer. Hope you're all doing very well today, and I hope you are ready for Oko in Jund. That's right, this is another donation league. This one is for Sal Malacola, and we are calling it Moist Jund. You could call it Wet Jund, you could call it 4-color midrange, you could call it Red-Blue Rock for all I care, but the point is we are basically taking the most powerful card printed in quite some time, both in terms of specific roles and in terms of just ubiquitous play across all decks and all formats, Oko Thief of Crowns, and we are jamming 3 copies of him into an already very powerful deck, Modern Jund. So, that's it. We're not doing anything else that's blue. Technically, blue mana can be used to cash Ashiok, but we jam this card in green-black rock anyway, so really the splash is only for Oko. Now, we'll do a brief deck tech. We're going to hop right into a league. We have 11 blue sources, we have 9 fetch lands, and we also have Watery Grave and Breeding Pool. So 11 should be just enough to cast Oko consistently on curve. And obviously our mana is going to be a little less consistent and a little more painful, even compared to the already high pain levels at times of Jund. But you know what? Greatness at any cost, am I right? We're going for the full greed, or the full value, depending on your perspective, max value or max greed. Maybe they're both true, maybe they're not mutually exclusive, right? But we are, in theory, able to cast Oko relatively consistently. And other than that, we have put Oko into a relatively stock Jund main deck. So the 3 Okos have displaced the 4th Liliana of the Veil, the 2nd Kolaghan's Command, and the 2nd Scavenging Ooze. And I think Sal's list here is excellent. I really, really like those choices in terms of what has to make way for Oko, because I love Liliana. I almost always play 4 in my lists, but 3 is not outrageous. You know, it's not outrageous to play 3, even in a rock or a Jund list, right? I think 4 is a little bit better than 3 right now, but 3 is not like you're not really going to look askance at that decision. 2nd Kolaghan's Command, obviously really well positioned now, but it's not something that's absolutely mandatory. And finally, Scavenging Ooze. There's been some chatter lately about how Scooze is kind of the weakest card in Jund anyway, and when we're adding a 4th color to the mana base, it gets even weaker. So dropping a Scooze, dropping a Kolaghan's Command, dropping a Liliana from what you normally see in stock Jund lists to fit 3 Oko seems really good. Seems like the right cards to trim away from to me. We are still on 3 Wrenn and 6, still on 4 Bloodbraid Elf. We've got a Maelstrom Pulse, 2 trophies, 4 Goyf, and as I already pointed out, we still have a couple Dark Confidant, very powerful card. We are going to pretty much outvalue almost any deck that I can think of as long as our deck is rolling, as long as we're functional, right? So Confidant card advantage and proactive 2-1 beats on top of all the other value from Wrenn, from K-Command, Liliana, Oko, Bloodbraid seems really good to me. We have the typical 2 push, 4 bolt, 3 IOK, 4 IOK, 2 Thoughtseize. This stuff is all pretty stock, pretty standard. And in the sideboard, again, nothing too crazy, but I really like how Sal has constructed it. I didn't make any changes to this list that he submitted me except to add a 9th fetch land in the form of Misty Rainforest to make it 11 blue sources all day before he was playing a 2nd Swamp. I guess before we move off the land base, 1 Raging Ravine, 1 Nurturing Peatland, 1 Barren Moor, and 1 each of the major basics. That's what we've opted for here. But the sideboard, I'm doing exactly as he submitted. So we've got 2 Plague Man, 2 Collector Oof, 3 Fulminator. These things are all pretty stock in various numbers. 2 Collective Brutality seems necessary to shore up Burn and similar matchups. With our 4-color stuff, 2 copies of Ancient Grudge card is very well positioned right now. Vraska Golgari Queen, another card that is well positioned right now in her own right, and also plays especially well with Oko. If you're in a Sultai or Sultai Plus deck like we are, I do really like having access to Vraska alongside Oko. Ashiok, another card that is well positioned. 1 copy of Nile Spellbomb, and finally Surgical. Surgical was the only card I really called into question. I've been, mainly because I've been calling it into question a little bit in my own list. I think it's fine. I think it's, playing 1 is pretty much always going to be fine. And here we go, finding our first opponent in the league. But I do think it kind of stands out as the weakest card in a few different ways in my Rock sideboard, maybe in this sideboard as well. So I suggested, hey, maybe we could play a second Spellbomb. The other card I would normally think is Veil of Summer could get in here, but maybe with our 4-color, hyper-value-oriented deck, we don't need Veil as much. So I was like, okay, Veil would be worth considering, but maybe it should just be a second Spellbomb. Against the graveyard decks, you kind of want to clear out the whole graveyard these days. Against Dredge and Crabvine, that's usually better than a Surgical. But Sal was like, well, you know, we kind of want to meme on the big mana decks too with Surgical. And I said, that's fair enough. And then I said, well, maybe we could consider a second Ashiok too, covering both bases. But then again, that brought me back full circle to Surgical covering both bases as well. And I said, look, let's just run it as is. Don't need to get too spicy with the tweaks. So there we go. As for Sal himself, he's a great supporter, great guy. I'm going to link his channel in the description below. It is Ironworks MTG. Sal has started a new Magic the Gathering channel focusing for now mostly on historic format gameplay, so please check his channel out. And Sal's an awesome guy. He's been a supporter for a while. Very cool fellow. And I asked him what his thoughts were on the card choices. You guys ready for this list that he submitted? He spent hours in his studio preparing this, I'm sure. He says, Jund good, Oko good, Jund with Oko good. Can't argue with that. The math checks out. So there it is. There it is. Thank you so much, Sal. This league is for you. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope everybody out there enjoys it as well. We've got a keepable hand. Thoughtseize Bolt Liliana. We've got these, specifically these basics are definitely a little bit awkward, but we'll make do. So, just deciding what land to get. We're definitely Thoughtseizing. I almost just want to get Basic Swamp because we're against Eldrazi Tron. They can put a clock on, and we have a pretty painful hand already. I think that's it. So if they've got Ghost Quarter, we are out of basics already, which is very awkward. But presumably that won't be much of an issue. So they've got Hangerback Walker that they can deploy next turn. You know, so there's an argument for taking that. But I think that's a beatable enough card that we should be taking one of the 4-drops. Now, the problem here, I guess there's not much of a problem. Let's just take Karn because we don't have a good way to pressure him. If they draw another Eldrazi Temple, we're very punished for this, but let's hope they don't. Like, in theory, we can kind of live with a Thought Knot. They found Expedition Map. Sure, I guess we just take the payoff at this point. So now they've got a 1/1 Thopter. And that's it. They're in top deck mode. There's their map. And the mine. Tagging us for 1, we draw Fatal Push. Alright. So is it better to K-Command or is it better to Lily? I think it might be better to K-Command simply because if they top deck like a Reality Smasher or something, we want to be able to Edict it. And I guess we have no special need to K-Command right now, so why don't we just pass? I guess we kind of need to get Overgrown Tomb with our Misty. We're going to take this hit. And we'll just K-Command on the end step if we have nothing else to do. Okay, Bloodbraid Elf. I like that better than Liliana here. Once again, slow rolling the Liliana for the Edict is pretty good. Alright, sure. We'll take it, Bob. And they have Warping Whale. Okay. Into another Thought Knot. Alright. So there goes our Lily. Scavenger Grounds is their last card. Oh, we draw another Liliana. Nice. Very nice. Okay, there's an uncastable Oko. Once again, our land situation was kind of always going to be awkward here. I left Mountain open just in case we drew Lightning Bolt, but we have not. Dark Confidant, huh? Okay, this is actually kind of a tough spot. Because on the one hand, Oko is the best card in our hand. But on the other hand, we can't cast it. I don't know what to do. I think we have to pitch him. I think we have to pitch the Oko here. I'm going to stay back. I'm going to trade Bloodbraid with Reshaper here. Which is never where we want to be, trading anything with Reshaper. This card's very good against us, but it's how things go. Okay, they get a free land off of this. It is a little scary. Guess this is Chalice on one, sure enough. Alright, fair enough. We draw another 1-drop, then run in 6. Okay. So we are pretty punished for the decision to pick Oko, because we could actually cast him now, albeit it would be rather painful. Not if we price them into cashing in the Scavenger Grounds, I guess. Okay, fair enough. All in all, that's pretty fine. You know, them Stone Raining themselves is never ideal, even if they do have a lot of mana already. And now we can try to rebuild our graveyards in case we draw Tarmogoyf, things like this. Alright. So let's begin by ticking Lily up. Pitching one of our other dead draws here, but Bloodbraid Elf was a pretty good one. Okay, their own expedition map was locked out. Kind of funny. Sure, we'll cast a Chalice. Or we'll cast a Bolt into the Chalice. Chalice checking him. So I guess we're just gonna ping, because that's gonna give us lethal next turn if we do the same exact thing. That'll do it. Alright, feels great to beat Eldrazi Tron. I say this all the time. I'm never not going to say it. I really hate the deck. So, gotta love beating it, right? Gotta love beating it. We like Fulminator Mage, Collector Oof. Maybe some number of Ancient Grudge, and Plague Engineer is pretty good too. A one of Extraction's playable when you are on the Fulminator plan, but I kind of like it more if you're on the Fulminator and Field of Ruin plan like we are on Rock, so I'm probably not going to play that. A little too value negative for me, I guess. Now, one of the problems with playing against Eldrazi Tron with a deck like BGX, even a 4-color one, is that a lot of our cards are kind of high variance in that sometimes they line up really well against what the opponent's doing and sometimes they really don't. Inquisition is a card that will call into question, but I might leave one in just to keep like a healthy balance of discard and a little bit of a hedge against getting chaliced on when the opponent's on the play. I'm also not sure about Kolaghan's command killing artifacts is live, but it might be a little bit too slow at that relative to Grudge. And the other modes are only okay. You know, again, it's really hard to, like, really high variance stuff in terms of how things can line up. I'm going to cut our 1 Scoos. I think that's fine. Let's definitely bring in all 5 of these cards. I mean, Ren and 6 to curve out is great, but I think I'm going to trim 1 just because they're pretty low impact. So let's do that. Then we probably want to play both Plague Men and I'll say 1 Ancient Grudge. Let's cut K Command. We're going to reduce the curve a little bit. And then Lightning Bolt I would kind of class as like the curve filler. Like, you can play kind of any number of bolt, but I'm no Jund expert, so is leaving in 2 bolts good, or should we be leaving in, should we just cut bolt altogether? I'm going to bring back a K command for bolt. That might be a little arbitrary, but we're going to go for it. Like, the discard mode is kind of good. I think this is fine. Might not be perfect, but I think it's pretty close. Okay, opponent on 7. We're on a 1-lander. It's a very good 1-lander, though. It's kind of got everything we need. Nevertheless, we're probably supposed to mulligan most 1-landers. Let's mull it. Alright, this is a fine one. We keep and we bottom... Ooh. It's either probably Plague Man or Bloodbraid Elf. I think we're gonna bottom the Plague Man, but it's close. Very close between the two. I do like Collector Roof, but I like it a lot better on the play for this exact reason. You just know that when they keep 7, they've got turn 1 map. It's pretty much guaranteed. Okay, but they don't have Tron rolled up. Now, if you saw my recent Blue Rock video, you know that I kind of pondered this exact decision against this exact board. This wasn't Cavern, it was some other, like, Eldrazi Temple or something. But I pondered, you know, is it Goyf or is it Oof? Is it Goyf or is it Oof? And in the end, I just went for Oof, and they also failed to crack the map in response. So maybe hesitating before the decision is the key. Darn, they got us. They were paying attention. Well, I think Oof is still the play here. Partially because Goyf is still small, and partially because it shuts off some of their other early plays, like more maps, Mindstone, Walking Ballista, things like this. Reshaper. We hate to see the Reshaper, but we do get to jam Oko here, and I suppose that's probably what we're supposed to do. The big question will be, though, do we make Reshaper an elk, or do we create a food token of our own? Suppose we need Blood Crypt. my inexperience comes back to bite us. I just got the wrong land. I was thinking, okay, we need red, we need double black for Liliana, but now we can't cast Oko. Alright. My bad, guys. My bad, my bad. Well, we're going to go with the second best option, which is Liliana and Edict. Hopefully I will not make a similar mistake again. And this is still fine because it's proactively clearing the board. The big problem, of course, is that we just give them a free Mind Stone, which is, yeah, still pretty bad, but at least we have the oof shutting it down for now. But I hate giving them that value this early in the game. I really do. Thought not seer. Alright, well. Kinda no matter what they take here, we want to draw land. So we can cast Oko or Bloodbraid Elf. Okay, Liliana. I actually like that draw a lot. I like that draw a lot. We're drawing fairly well, so we're going to tick up pitching I don't know what. I think maybe Tarmogoyf to play around Blaststone. That might be wrong. You know what? I think it's actually just going to be Plague Engineer. There are some incentives, though, for sure to pitch Goyf. We'll see how it pans out. We draw a third Lily. Yeah, no, I'm not mad about it. One of the very best cards against the deck. Okay, here's a Smasher. Hopefully they attack Liliana. They sure do. Fulminator Mage. Good one. Good draw, but they've got a million lands anyway. We just gotta keep edicting. Liliana just won't be denied. Haven't drawn our fourth land yet, though. So obviously by not Fulminatoring there, we turn on, I guess, All Is Dust here is probably the big risk. Eldrazi Temple counting for 2 toward that. But I think the upsides of edicting there are just way too high not to do. If they can't do something great this turn, getting Liliana back up to 2 next turn is very, very good. And again, they already had enough lands to do enough things where Fulminator instead of Liliana is not the most viable. Okay, so they go Karn TGC. I always try to say his name is an acronym and I always stumble over it. Karn TGC. I want to say TCG. It flows off the tongue more easily. Trading card game. Karn trading card game. That's basically what that's what Modern felt like for a while when he first came out, right? What on earth? Sky Sovereign Console Flagship. So this is a 5-drop that's going to ETB and kill our Liliana, or our Oof. That's terrifying. And there's nothing we can really do about it in terms of answering their hand. Fulminator doesn't stop it from coming down. So we're going to tick up, and I'd probably, I guess, just pitch Fulminator at this point. We'll see what they lose here. Walking Ballista, okay. So the mana-efficient thing to do is play Plague Engineer. And there are some real incentives to be mana-efficient right now. But I think we still need to play Goyf. Like, we just want the most pressure right now, both for the purposes of beating Karn and for the purposes of actually just ending this game at some point. So at least we're presenting them with a dilemma. You know, they have to choose with the Sky Sovereign which one to kill between Liliana and Oof, and then hopefully it will be sitting around unable to be crewed for a little while. Okay, so they tag Lily. Well, we could draw our fourth one, I suppose, and they play map. Alright, so Oof still shutting down a whole lot. Ren and 6. Guess we'll attack first here. You know, attacking with Oof is not the worst. Attacking with Oof is really not the worst, but I don't think I'm gonna. Our Tarmogoyf means they can't really lattice. They can go get Bridge, but... yeah, I think we really need to make our fourth land drop here. Pinging Karn is a little interesting, though. But I think we need to... like, casting Bloodbraid next turn is a good way to start trying to beat whatever they do this turn, kind of no matter what it is. Interesting. Oh, when it attacks too. See, I forgot about this. Okay, this is quite an amazing synergy. I actually haven't seen this before. Yeah, that's rough. Okay. Alright, so I should have attacked with Oof last turn. I did not realize it would still get the trigger. That's powerful stuff. Good to know. Good to know for the future, and for all of you out there. Maybe I'm the only one who didn't know that. Maybe that was something I should have known. Now, what have they drawn for turn? I don't know, but now they might be able to tutor Blast Zone. Okay, Urza's mine, so they just want Tron instead. That's a little scary. They drew something amazing. Yeah, okay. Looks like the game probably just got lost, but we'll see. We'll see what this is. Giant Walking Ballista. Chalice on 4? Oh, no. That's gross. That's just gross. How often do you see that? Okay, so we need... what? I guess... whatever, Stomping Ground's fine here. Little ridiculous. Okay, well, for now, Bloodbraid Elf is locked out by Chalice. Not every day you see that. And now we're starting to flood. We missed our land drop for this long, and now we just flood, huh? Okay, so this actually happened in my last league too. Opponent tried to make a 1-1 Eldrazi Scion with a Plague Engineer down naming Eldrazi, and it just dies to state-based effects. So that's pretty awesome. And that put an instant in the yard, so now they are facing lethal next turn, where they were not before. And that's the scoop. Wow. Plague Engineer with the out-of-nowhere blowout. Even when this card is kind of medium, it's still amazing. Plague Engineer, OP. Ooh, alright, so I did not, I think, play optimally. It's always hard to tell when you're trying to commentate live and play at the same time. You know, it's easier for me to see you looking back. It's probably easier for you, the viewer, to tell as well. But from what I'm thinking right now, I probably should have attacked Karn with Oof as well. I didn't respect the Sky Sovereign well enough. However, we still did well enough to get there 2-0 against what I assume is a pretty tough matchup. I have been beating Eldrazi Tron lately, but for a while I just simply couldn't get there against the deck no matter what I did. They just always had it. So it feels great to beat E-Tron 2-0. We'll keep this hand with the opponent mulling. It's pretty dirtily. It's pretty low on interaction, but with the opponent mulling, I think I'm supposed to keep it. So our plan will probably be to fetch a black land that also makes either red or green, and cycle Barrenmore on the end step. Okay, we're against Amulet Titan. So the dirtily hand is not looking particularly exciting. However, if we were on the play, this would be a lot better, right? Sadly, we are not. Inquisition, a good draw. A good draw. So scratch that. Not cycling. We're going to discard you out. Hopefully finding something relevant here. This could whiff, though. No, it doesn't. Alright, so they've got Ancient Stirrings and Summoner's Pact. I think we take Stirrings, because their hand doesn't really go anywhere till they find more lands. And they already have a Titan in hand, so they don't really need Pact, strictly speaking. So normally it's going to be way better to kill their turn 1 scout than to cast a discard spell. Like, if I had a choice there, I would have pushed or bolted the scout. However, this is kind of a relatively rare situation in which I think it was more impactful to discard out the Stirrings. But we'll see how it all goes. Alright, Renin 6, another one. Yeah, I guess we just ping the scout, right? There is an argument for playing Goyf because we just got a clock, but slowing them down is pretty great too. It doesn't slow them down if they haven't been drawing lands, but if they haven't been drawing lands, then they're kind of stuck anyway for the most part, so. Okay, Azusa, but no lands. Yeah, don't care about that much. However, we can bolt her. That's a thing. So I guess we can do Barrenmore here to begin. I don't think we're bolting Azusa. I gave a little brief consideration to not showing them blue, but whatever, we'll just get our colors online. And they're continuing to whiff on land drops. That's very, Very good for us. I think they're now pausing in the second main phase, so maybe that's not true. Oh, they drew a bounce land. That's actually pretty terrifying. That's exactly what we wanted to fade. Oh. They drew one last turn, but they're slow rolling it? Aha. Well. Well. Now they're going to Titan, and there's not really anything we can do about it. So, I guess our best play is probably Bloodbraid Elf. Well, we get to take their pact, but they've got the Titan just in hand. Taking pact isn't bad, though. Okay. They look like they're I keep thinking they're going to skip past their turn the way they're sequencing. They just love playing in the second main phase, I guess. Yeah, so, I mean, the opponent really needed to draw lands, and their 3 draws, and those 3 draw steps were Azusa, Bounce Land. Those were pretty much the perfect draws, also allowing them, of course, to sequence in such a way where we couldn't really, even if we had better interaction, we couldn't really stop it. Unless we just bolted Azusa, maybe the turn that they didn't play a land, but I didn't read them for the bluff. So we really wanted to obviously draw like Pulse or Oko or something here. We didn't. No way to kill the Titan. Unless we just go bolt it, Kolaghan's Command it, ping it. I guess that kills Titan. I guess that's what we're going to do. Alright, well, we did it. We not only answered Titan, we took the way to find another Summoner's Pact out of their hand. Granted, they would have needed to manufacture a second blue mana. We can also cycle Baron Moore here on the unstep. So they're in total top deck mode, and they top deck, Amulet of Vigor. It could make other top decks amazing, but for now, that's fine. Alright, so we're not drawing much. I guess we'll begin by buying back and cycling the Moor. Dark Confidant? Yeah, alright, I mean, I guess we're just kind of playing out our stuff here and attacking and hoping to fade their draw step. I guess EE is pretty devastating, but we still have a 2-turn clock even if they find that. Once Upon a Time, little scary, very scary top deck. They've got a lot of mana. That's the concession. So they didn't find Titan. I imagine Titan would have been able to maybe stabilize them, although we can, you know, they would have needed to make more tokens or something, I'm sure. No, sorry, they had Amulet of Vigor. They could have gone off, right? So, yeah, they just whiffed on Titan in the top 5, thankfully. And we got there. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so taking down big mana in Game 1 feels great. How do we sideboard with a deck like this? Well, I don't know. That's my first time playing it, but we'll try. We'll try. So probably Fatal Pushes can go. And maybe we'll consider trimming Lightning Bolt. Maybe has a similar role of making up the numbers either way, as it does in E-Tron. Again, I think Renin 6 is something we can consider moving away from. It was great there, though. It was helping us curve out. It was looping Baron more, and it helped us kill Titan. But still kind of low impact overall, I think, compared to other things. Let's see, I guess, what we want to bring in. Fulminators, Ashiok. Maybe one Grudge. One Grudge to hit Amulets. One Grudge to hit EE. One Grudge to hit other random stuff. Coalition Relic, Walking Ballista. I think I want one but not two, probably. I mean, Collector Roof is kind of cute too, but probably not. I think I might want exactly one Plague Engineer as well to beat Hornet Queen. I don't think beating Field of the Dead is realistic this way. I do want Surgical. So these 5 for sure, maybe a couple more cards. Alright, let's get these out of here. Anything else we don't really... I mean, Scooz is kind of medium. Yeah, Scooz... We can replace Scooz with the Plague Man, I guess. That's close enough. And why don't we cut one Bolt, go down to 2, and play a single Ancient Grudge. I think Oko's pretty great here just because it can Elk Amulet. Even though it's a little slow on the draw, it can Elk Titan. And it's a way to let us, of course, start amassing a board of our own. Opponent will mulligan. We've got a hand that's pretty good, except the mana sucks. I think we'll keep it, though. Colony Garden. Alright. Show me an untapped land of any variety. Beautiful. Okay. So we want to get a black land here for sure. I don't have a good sense of what the best one in the dark is to get. So I guess we're just going to get Blood Crypt. This will allow us to, like, bolt something. If they, like, play a Scout, we can bolt something and play, like, a tapped Baron more if we want to do that. Once Upon a Time in response. I hope that doesn't mean we're going to whiff here. No, not at all. They've got 2 choices. Okay, so they found a bounce land. They have Primeval Titan and Field of the Dead. So a Braid, I guess we don't care about a Braid. Guess we just take the EE. Then again, we can grudge the EE. But we still don't care about a Braid. So, sure. So now I think it's pretty much incumbent upon us to play the Goyf race as hard as possible. It's a little tough to do against plant tokens starting on turn 1, but we'll do our best. Cool. we're just attacking here. Holding up K command is obviously better than just doing it right now. Their hand is so full, it's not like we're really like getting a great card out of their hand. They've got 5 cards to pitch. They've got 2 blockers. Like, it's way better to just pass here, I think. Certainly going to want to do something on the end step, most likely K command, but you could see grudging depending on what they do. Okay, Azusa. So in response to the first trigger, we will K command her. Opponent could have played like Field of the Dead first to ensure they had another land drop. Glad they didn't. Okay, we're continuing to hit land drops. We are lucky to have hit as many as we have. There's no doubt about that, but we're probably good now. We're probably set now, right? We don't really need any more. Trophy. Yeah, I'll trophy a Simic Growth Chamber here. They're scooping. Beautiful. That was a nice cascade. Definitely, opponent definitely got punished for running out the Gruul Turf first. Didn't respect the potentiality of removal, which against a Jund deck with 3 mana open, I guess you should. And then we get the lovely proactive 2-for-1 of Bloodbraid. We're setting them back a mana with that trophy. We're attacking for 3 haste alongside our big fat Goyf. Alright guys, well we ran into 2 bad matchups, I think. And we 2-0'd both of them. Seems really good to me. This deck's got a whole lot of tools. It's got a little bit of everything. And I think we are definitely better positioned against a lot of other archetypes in the format too, besides the big mana ones. So, very promising sign. Very, very strong start to the league. Long may it continue. We've been drawing well, you know, no denying that. I'm not 200 IQ outplaying the opponents left, right, and center. It's my first time out in the league with the deck, so definitely not gonna be a massive skill gap, I don't think. But at the same time, I do think we have maximized our lines in some ways. I think the end of that game was a great example. On the other hand, you know, I did again miss that line against Karn and Sky Sovereigns. So definitely one of the things about Midrange is that you're expanding the decision tree, right? You are not only having to make more decisions in your own right, but you're also having to your opponent's also having to make more decisions. So the more times that happens, the more skill does tend to manifest. At the same time, it's kind of hard to do that optimally while you're narrating, but hopefully I'm doing a good job for you guys. I'm having all kinds of fun. Hope you are too. And our hand would be way better on the play than the draw. We lack early interaction, but it's a good all-arounder. I think I do keep it in the blind. But would have loved, specifically with a hand like this, to have won the die roll. Let's hope going Goyf into Oko or Goyf into Pulse is good enough. Or let's alternatively hope we draw the early interaction we need. Okay. Turn 1, Copperline Gorge, but they cycle? They've got to have Life from the Loam. Right? It's got to be a Life from the Loam hand. This is Dredge. Yeah, I mean, we don't have anything to do anyway. We just drew another land. Yeah, this is an example of a hand where Goyf into Pulse or Goyf into Oko is almost certainly not going to be good enough on the draw. But then again, we're pretty poor against a deck like this game one. Okay, it's a Cathartic Reunion hand, sure. They picked Conflagrate, Prized Amalgam. Alright. I guess we'll get Basic Forest here. Just in case Skoos is in our future. Alternatively, we could get Breeding Pool. But I think getting Basic Forest is fine. Certainly don't need to double black for Liliana in this matchup. So if they've got a ton of Dredgers in their hand, they can have a great turn of Conflagrating to kill our Goyf, pitching their whole hand, and then going off in an unstoppable way next turn. There's not really anything we can do about this. We've just kind of got to play out our stuff and hope they're lacking. But because they kept a hand without a turn 1 enabler, unless they just wanted to get Conflagrate early, they probably do have the beef. And sure enough, here's the beef. Here's the Bloodghast bringing back the Amalgam. They have a Stinkweed Imp in the graveyard too. And they also found a Shriekhorn as well. Finding life from the loam. So yeah, lots and lots of scary stuff. I guess Tarmogoyf here is better than Oko. Got another Conflagrate, but they are a little bit light on the old gasoline. They hit a Creeping Chill and another Life from the Loam. So this is just the cycle. The value, Life from the Loam, and what's it called? Forgotten Caves, so good together. Just got to take our blocks here. We can't afford to take free hits. Narcomoeba's the hit. Bringing back the Amalgam. You hate to see it. Alright, let's get our blue mana. And our black mana for that matter. And I guess we're just going to try to... Are we going to try to, like, outvalue them with Oko? I guess that's probably our best line, especially because we keep just drawing Shocklands. Like... Play Oko, make a food, sit behind Goyf, try to eventually take over with double Goyf and all the Oko value. We'll continue making green mana here. And erasing them is no longer realistic due to the Creeping Chill. Okay, Narcomoeba, Bloodghast, Stinkweed Imp. They're just, on every single hit, they're hitting, you know? They're getting it done. Life from the Loam, so now they can Conflagrate our Goyf away, they can attack our Oko away, so I guess we're pretty much just dead. It looks like they're going for a different line. Or do they haven't made a land drop yet, so they can still do that? We see Merchant of the Veil, aka Haggle, is in the deck. And yeah, there's the... Oof. Okay. Guess we'll make them do this part and then we'll scoop. Get a little bit more info this way, maybe, as they pitch the entire contents to their hand. I wonder if they have something that would grow the Goyf if they pitch it. Or are they were just double checking that probably, now they're going to do it? Yes, no, maybe so. I would love to scoop, you know, show me the final piece of this unbeatable puzzle and I will scoop. But I mean, realistically, they've just hit so many things in this turn that maybe we should just scoop anyway. But hey, at this point, we're making him think. We're making him think, at least. They hit me for 3 and Oko for 2. Okay. Sure. Alright, we're flooded. So we can Pulse Narcomoebas, that's some value. You know, they're kind of out. They're kind of out of gas. They could brick eventually on one of these dredges. They're out of Shriekhorn activations, no cards in hand. I guess we play it out. So we're pressed into pulsing these because they're non-recursive and evasive. If I could click the appropriate mana, that would be helpful. And, you know, we gotta hope they brick. Can't afford to attack, really, with our life total this low. Hope they brick off this imp, and then maybe we can draw Scoos. Okay, they life from the loam is what they dredged. Fair enough. A lot less likely to brick that way, I guess. Get to do the Forgotten Cave nonsense. They're down to 16 cards in their library. That's another amusing thing. So, Creeping Chill, a tough pill to swallow at the moment. So right now they're pushing 4 damage through. We're at 5. Okay. Can we draw Scoos? Or what else do they have? City of Brass. Okay, the imp, sure. Boy, oh boy, can we not stop flooding. Whew, come on. Alright, well, I guess we crack Peatland now, but are we... So we're gaining 3. We block. We take 3. I guess we're not dead on board. But, yeah, they're going to get a Bloodghast back. Alright, let's crack Peatland. Bloodbraid Elf. Okay, we're dead. Just make them do it. Oh, they got another Amalgam coming back. Okay, good enough for me. Good enough for me. Well, you know, I don't feel that bad about flooding so horrifically there because, again, a lot of our cards in Game 1 are just not going to beat them when they just kept 7 and they are hitting with every single dredge. They had a lot of resilience in their curve as well. This is a matchup I really didn't want to see. I don't know how well configured we are for it. Only have 1 Scoos main deck and not like an enormous amount of Grave Hate in the set. But these 7 cards I think are valid. We definitely want these 5 and 2 copies of Brutality, especially on the play, is probably better than a reasonable amount of what we're up to. I don't have much Oko experience. I guess we're supposed to leave in all three, but I'm not even clear on that, not even sure about that. But I guess let's begin with things we are more sure of, which would be see you later, Liliana. I like leaving in like some number of push, and I think we can leave both Bobs on the play. But maybe we don't need push if we have Lightning Bolt. So we could consider trimming cards like this. I don't know. I guess we're leaving in things like this. Well, we know we want these 5. I think I want my Brutalities too. I think when we bring in 2 Brutalities, they can actually... 1 can replace a Thoughtseize, basically. So we're making 3 cuts, maybe, from this little selection here. Well, if that's where we're at, then I'm just going to play the Thoughtseize. I think the Thoughtseize is probably better than most of these cards. Okay, we're going to cut trophies. We're going to cut 1 Ren and 1 push. I think that's a fine balance. Again, these cards in the 3-drop slot are all pretty medium. Alright, I think they're all pretty medium as far as I can tell, but got some decent stuff coming in from the side. Let's do it. Well, we've actually, spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen my Blue Rock video and you don't want to be spoiled, skip ahead like 30 seconds right now. You've been warned, but similar parallels. Not only did we have a similar situation that I pointed out against Eldrazi Tron, we beat Eldrazi Tron in that league game 1, and we crushed an opponent round 2, and then we ran into Dredge round 3. And lost. So far, that's happening here. But let's hope we break the cycle. We're going to beat Dredge both post-side games. That's what we hope. The hand doesn't have Grave Hate. But it's very functional. On the other hand, I think it doesn't have a threat either. I think we're supposed to mulligan. This can beat a Cathartic Reunion hand, but it can't beat much else. I'll mull. Alright, we got Skoos, we got this card, this is better. We're keeping... We'll just bottom Bloodbraid. Our mana sucks, obviously, but I think that's almost a given with this deck. I don't know which land is even better to play here necessarily. There's an argument for either. I'm going to play Peatland, though. Just in case we draw more green lands running, basically. Okay, so their hand does nothing once we take away Haggle. But our other Inquisition also is going to be a very high-risk play, to say the least, from here on out. So they shotgun so they can cycle Forgotten Cave. We draw Blackcleave Cliffs. I'm pretty fine with that. Pretty fine draw. You know, if this was not our pain land, that would be nice. But what are you gonna do? Oh my god. Wow. Okay. So they just drew another Haggle. That's a tilt. That is a tilt, but I guess all we can really do is eat the Stinkweed Imp here. Okay. Should have waited on that one. I just got... sorry, guys. I should have waited on that one, at least done it on their upkeep. I think we're just dead now. We can... Inquisition is high risk. Yeah, I should have waited at least to do that on their upkeep. I just got confused as to where they were able to go off from, but they just top-decked another freaking haggle. Unbelievable. Alright, so we are having a repeat of what's going on. What went on last league, rather. Got a little bit tilted and confused by that and just went for the activation, but I believe it would have been better to wait. But look at what their hits are, like Conflagrate, Prized Amalgam. It's all a little bit rough. It's all a little bit rough. Our mana just really not facilitating our scoos whatsoever, which, again, is why we, only have one in the deck. It's what we signed up for. We're looking, ideally, for other forms of Grave Hate, not this, right? So do we just, they're almost guaranteed to beat us because they're dredging Stinkweed Imp. They already have, they have Golgari Thug in there. So we can Bloodbraid looking for exactly Nile Spellbomb, basically. Or we can just play Oko. I think we need to go for the Bloodbraid here. But we're shocking, and I think we only have one Spellbomb in the deck, so we've got to find exactly it. It's a run in 6. I guess we're going to ping your Narcomoeba. And race. Creeping Chill, Narcomoeba. Alright. Good enough for me. Yeah, it would have been better to use the Scoos activation at a more opportune time, but the only way that would have... Okay, thanks for showing me your nut draw hand. Great. Happy for you. So happy for you. Don't you love that? Don't you love that? The only way it would have been even given us an outside shot of winning that game is if the opponent made the mistake. If the opponent made the mistake of playing into our Scoos activation. Doesn't look like they would have, so we were just not going to win that game. Don't get me wrong, our position was pretty fine. We had Scoos into Oko, and they had nothing, but they immediately top-decked another haggle, and that was that. So, pretty rough stuff. But again, we're seeing the parallels with the Blue Rock League, where this exact pattern happened. And if the pattern continues for the rest of the league, I'm going to be pretty cool with it, because the Blue Rock League was awesome. This hand is pretty great. We'll keep it. We can get Watery Grave off Bloodstained Mire and have all 4 colors. And then we've got discards and goifs until we hit our 3rd land for Oko. The opponent has mulled as well, so as long as we're not against a super binary deck like the ones we've been playing, admittedly, super extreme ends of the format, then we should be good. And we are. It's Amulet Titan. Yikes. Major yikes. Okay, so given their mulligan, it actually might be safer to Thoughtseize. I think I'm going to Thoughtseize, especially because if we're probably curving out with threats from here on out. We're probably not casting a second discard spell unless it really makes sense to. So sure, let's Thoughtseize just to make sure it hits. And also, so we can take a good payoff and then just keep jamming threats. Oh my god, they have nothing except lands in hand. What a tilt. Normally that'd be great against any other deck, besides maybe Tron, that'd be great, but it's actually pretty terrifying here because we can't kill the Scout. And they have Talaria West and Field of the Dead. Ugh, come on. Pretty absurd, isn't it? Sometimes it's a little absurd. Well, we've drawn a 3rd land. That is untapped, so we can play Oko on curve. Don't know if we're supposed to Oko the Scout. Feels like the Scout will have certainly done its damage by then. Are we supposed to try to make elks of our own to just beat the zombies? We'll see what they do, of course, but I'm not very optimistic about all this. Yeah, they just got EE on too. Sweet. So their hand is Talaria West Ghost Quarter. So we'll attack here. If they blow it, we can play another Goyf. If not, we'll play Oka. And I think at this point, we just have to start making food. So we have both colors. We have another red and green land, but we can only get red and green basics. I guess we kind of need the second black source, don't we? So even though our life total is getting low, let's get Overgrown Tomb. They didn't crack EE. They play Castle Garenbrig. They still have that Ghost Quarter in hand. We have a trophy. I like that just fine. Gotta be able to beat Field of the Dead somehow. I guess we're pretty priced into doing so. So I suppose we will make an elk and attack. Okay, so in response to this, we'll destroy field. We'll leave our Watery Grave untap, make them sweat some 1 mana permission. How about that, too? Alright, so we're still very, very, very soft to them top decking their bombs. But, you know, all things considered, I think we've been sticking in this game reasonably well. And they will finally just crack the EE, say enough of this. They sense that they need to top deck a bomb soon, so they want all their mana open to do so, I guess. Attacking Oko, yeah. Alright. Casting Inquisition is almost certainly going to whiff. I don't think it's going to do anything good for us, but at the same time, there's no real reason not to. Like, because we definitely want to play Goyf this turn, so sure, let's just use one. Especially because we have 2 in hand. Yeah, just a land as expected. Okay, so opponents at 10, and if they didn't have Ghost Quarter for our Ravine, and a Chump Blocker, I guess, they would be facing lethal. As it is, they've got some ways to extend the game here. And try to find one of those big payoffs. Let's hope they don't. Okay, there's the forest we knew about. What have they found? Azusa. Okay, not very good. Come on, something great. Whoo-hoo. Yeah, that's probably pretty great. So we're definitely... Is there any reason to take away, to trade our food? Nah, food extends the game. Let's just make an elk out of our food right now. Like, giving them our food allows them to gain life. And I want to make the decision main phase in case I cascade into another one, basically. Another Oko. Renin 6. Guess we just ping the scout, turn them all sideways. Opponent will be at 1. All right, well, I don't know what they could have game 1 here. Apparently nothing. All right, well, you know, that one didn't look very good now, did it? But Oko, granted, the opponent never saw a Titan. But they only got 13 cards deep, you know? We disrupted pretty well, considering. And it worked out okay. Let's emulate our sideboarding from last time, which I believe was this. Fulminator, Ashiok, Surgical being our kind of our best cards. And Grudge and Plagueman feeling better to me as one-ofs than two-ofs. While Oof being like a cute alternative if you have a bunch of relatively bad bears. Like in Rock, if you have like 3 Scoozes in your deck, maybe you can switch one out for an Oof or something. But here in this 4-color Moist Jund list, I don't believe we're going to. Trying to remember exactly what we took out last time. Think we had some hedging involved. Some classic Grimflayer MTG hedges were afoot, but we lost the Scoos and the pushes. We lost some number of Lightning Bolts, and I think we trimmed 1 Renin 6. And... Or did we trim 2 Renin 6? Maybe that was it. 2 Ren leaving in 2 Lightning Bolts, I kind of like that. Even if that's not exactly what we did, I think that is good enough. I think it's pretty reasonable here. Yeah, I like it. Opponent keeping 7, never what we want to see. However, we have a pretty great hand. It's super dependent on drawing the 3rd land, but I believe we're quite likely to. Especially on the draw. Okay, Sakura Tribe Scout is actually a pretty scary start. But we draw Lightning Bolt. I like that. This does price us into getting Blood Crypt here. But I'm very, very happy to have drawn one of our very few 1-mana kill spells post-side. That's huge. That's huge. Pretty lucky. At the same time, we now cannot play anything turn 2. Oh no, they found another scout. Okay, we're a little bit punished for this. Let's just draw. Yeah, Thoughtseize a fine draw. Once again, I repeat, not our 3rd land that we need, but drawing 1-mana interaction isn't bad either. Okay, Obstinate Baloth, we don't want to give them the free 4/4, so we just take Pact of Negation. Good to know about Baloth, scary card against us. And they can also Summoner's Pact for it if they have the ability to pay. Ooh, Amulet of Vigor, scary card. Let's draw our 3rd land, please. Untapped 3rd land, preferably blue. blue lets us cast Oko and Ashiok here. Darn. And there's not even a dual land to hit with Trophy, so we're definitely just playing Goyf. Man, pretty unlucky. Like a weird mixed bag of luck, right? Like we definitely needed in some ways to draw that early interaction, or it was fine in some ways to draw it, but above all, we wanted to hit the third land, and that's what we faded. We kind of want to fade their land drops, and they're hitting them too. Will they just hard cast the Baloth? They sure will. Okay, so opponent, top deck mode. Let's draw land. Come on, land. It's a trophy. Okay, so I don't know what to do. One option is to trophy the Baloth and race. Problem is, that's going to give them land number 6, and then all of their best top decks are live. Again, this is why we just need to draw the third land, because then we can do any number of great things. Their life total is so high that I don't think racing them is the right call. So I'm going to say go. And maybe still trophy the Baloth on the end step, but I'm not going to do it main phase just to get my damage in. Field of the Dead. Okay, now we kind of have to trophy that. That's like just a game-winning card. So that's one good reason to have slow rolled this. Once again, still just really looking to draw the third land. We did. It's not blue though. So we can cast Ashiok, but not Oko. And Ashiok's pretty darn good against their deck. I guess this makes keeping a defensive posture a lot more viable. So let's just do it. Okay, they top deck a Titan, but just in time our Ashiok shuts off the trigger and we do have a trophy to kill Titan. We can also do other... Oh my god, if we just had a blue land! The Oko train would be real. It'd be so real. I think I'm just main phasing this trophy in case they have Veil of Summer in their deck. Alright, we're playing Protect the Ashiok, and Protect the life total for that matter, because their board certainly does outrace ours. And we've dealt with a lot of their top decks very well. Surgical is now a live draw, but they just top deck Oko immediately. So the opponent's top decks have been nuts. When in top deck mode, they hit the 6th land, which they needed, followed by the Titan, followed by the Oko, and we've just got a bunch of useless crap, basically, stuck in hand. Okay. Pretty rough. Can't really afford to crack Peatland in my view. I mean, if they do something else really good this turn, maybe we will, but... Yep, as expected, they just elk our Goyf here. I'm actually going to take this hit because Ashiok's still around at 1. And if we get an Oko of our own... then we'll be happy we kept our elk alive. We draw another land and it's not blue. Well, maybe we can't even Bloodbraid into an Oko because all 3 are stuck in hand. Kind of funny, though. Kind of tilting. I was going to say we tilt into another dead card. We cascade into another dead card. Okay, so what do we do? I mean, sure, we'll cast it. Primeval Titans in their hand? Holy crap, could their top decks be any better? Alright, I guess now we're priced into sitting back. I was thinking about maybe attacking the Oko, but we certainly don't want to turn on Primetime. I guess they're getting it either way, huh? So we'll take the free kill on the Tribe Scout. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, they kind of missed their payoffs in game one, I guess, but this certainly makes up for it. This is enough top-decked payoffs to last a league. Like, they just never stops right now for them. I don't feel like sitting through this. We're dead. We're dead. We're not beating it. Could get a little more info off the amulet, but whatever. Off of the triggers, rather. So yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess we were not that likely to win game one and we came away with it, so that's the upside. But the downside is that I think we were pretty favored there in game two for quite some time, but did not end up getting there. Kind of losing to our own land base. I don't think we change anything here on the draw. I think we just run it back. Yeah, kind of losing to our own land base, but losing, of course, more than anything to their nearly perfect sequence of top decks against a pretty strong progression that we had. A scary deck, though. Good deck, Amulet Titan. No question about it. Alright, let's get a nice... Is this a nice hand? I think it's nice enough. I think we'll keep it. I mean, I rate Liliana on the play pretty darn highly here. You hate to see them keep 7. I'm going to run this out, and just because I kind of wouldn't be surprised if they have another turn 1 scout. No. Alright, we need a black land. I'm going to get Blood Crypt as well here so we can hold up Bolt next turn while playing Ravine. So right now, the scariest card is Obstinate Baloth, basically. Because we're kind of all in on a Liliana plan. Of course, we can draw the hot stuff. We can draw Fulminator. We can draw Ashiok. We can draw a nice 2-drop threat here. We can draw all the hot stuff. We'll see if we do. We can draw Dark Confidant. That's pretty good. Do we just bite the bullet and get Breeding Pool now and have, like, the... No, we need a second black land. So do we bite the bullet and get Watery Grave now? Sure. Yeah, Bob is pretty good here. Amulet of Vigor. Alright. Time to draw a Grudge or a Kolaghan's Command. If we do, I bet that'll be the play over... Oof. Okay, nice turn for the opponent. Now we really want to draw K-Command. How nice would that be? Fulminator Mage instead. You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. Let's attack with Bob. I'm going to offer the trade first. Okay. You know, it's probably actually safer to bolt Sakura Tribe Scout in a lot of ways. Or to even play Liliana and Edict it. The other thing is, what if they have Azusa? You know, I think the safest thing to do is actually to play Mountain in Bolt Scout and hold up another Bolt for Azusa. Like, as bad as that is in other ways, I think that's like the safest thing to do here. Fulminator's still going to be good next turn, excepting things like Veil of Summer, which whatever, we can't really play around. So the question is, I mean, there are a million different lines here. This is a super interesting spot. Liliana Edict is pretty tempting too, not gonna lie. It's just so mana efficient, and we really need to be mana efficient. What a tough call. What an interesting call. I think I'm gonna kill the Scout. So, is it Liliana or is it Bolt? You know, I think I'm just gonna Bolt. This way we're holding up Bolt for Azusa. I'm also a little bit scared of Obstinate Baloth, and with our initial hand I was just gonna make them have it, but now that we've got Confidant and Fulminator Mage, and our life total's low, we are a little bit scared of a Baloth, a little bit soft to one. They sure do have Azusa. So I'm kind of glad we held up Bolt. And by kinda, I mean very, because we do get to respond to this. Alright, so whatever happens here, I'm very happy with our sequencing. I'm very happy we thought that line through. Opponent's start is really explosive here, and we're keeping pace with it. And now it's going to be Fulminator time. Hope they don't have a Veil of Summer. Okay, Assassin's Trophy, pretty cool. They were F6, so I just hit it now. Otherwise, it might have been interesting to move to the upkeep, but I could tell they were F6'd. I think overall it's probably better to hit the real land than the Vesuvid land, but of course, it's hard to say. The game could go in any number of directions. They don't have another Azusa. Okay, Oko? Well, that's pretty freaking bad, too. That's pretty darn bad, too. Hey, they Elkar Bob? Yeah, I don't even mind that. I don't mind that so much. I was just going to say I'm pretty happy attacking Oko off the field here. But am I? Am I now that we have drawn Inquisition? Drawing Inquisition is going to allow us to maybe do a lot of good. Do a lot of good in the world here. Oh, what an interesting game this has become. So Liliana and Trophy is a line. I don't really want to trophy anything that's not a land, though. Or we can just attack Oko off the field. Think I'm attacking Oko. Really kind of sucks. But I hope they don't max punish us this turn. I mean, we realistically have kept pace with as much as we can be expected to keep pace with. If they have some way to really punish us for doing that, then so be it. But I think letting Oko stick around is probably a mistake. I think trophying Oko is probably a mistake. We don't want to ramp them at all. Okay. They got the Titan. Yep. Summoner's Pact, okay, well, I'm sure they're still going to be able to pay for the Pact even if we draw some good stuff here. Unbelievable, man, unbelievable. So they had another bounce land, and they had the Pact, and they had everything else that we've interacted with. I don't know. I don't regret really attacking Oko. But guess the safer thing to do would have been to let Oko live and trophy this Vesuvid Simic Growth Chamber. If we had had a way to kill Amulet of Vigor without ramping them, like if we had had a Grudge or a Trophy, I would definitely have done that last turn no matter what else we did. But yeah, pretty rough stuff. These were good games, though. You saw a lot of good gameplay. Hopefully you learned something if you're not that familiar with the matchup, or even if you are. I mean, we faced Titan twice now, and all of the games have been pretty different, right? So we're definitely learning a lot. We're definitely seeing some cool stuff go down. And, I mean, guys, we're against... This is our fourth bad matchup in a row. Like, we are going to dump on other mid-range decks. We're going to dump on control with this deck. We're going to be very, very good against most variants of aggro, most go-wide decks, because we are still Jund. And even though our mana is worse, we also still have Oko to stabilize, right? So, anyway, long story short, I mean, I think our deck is still performing very well. And I guess we're not dead, are we? But... So we've clearly got to, I guess we can do all three things. Like we go get Swamp with Bloodstained Mire. We can Edict or Tick Up, and we can Trophy. And we can Inquisition. So I guess the responsible thing to do is to... Oh, no, we can't. Didn't see that until after I'd already fetched, because we need 4 black sources. We're only going to have 3. Okay, so I didn't need to fetch there. Probably should not have. So I guess we just get... Still kind of need to get Swamp here. I guess Inquisition is what misses out. Would have been nice to know if there's a Baloth waiting for us or something like this. But... only so much we can play around, you know? So the opponent with all these cards in hand, I'm sure we're going to lose. We're at 2 life, I'm sure we're going to lose. But... we do at least have Trophy to answer another Titan. Tireless Tracker? Oh no. That's a rough one. Okay, this is kind of a card we'd probably have to Trophy. Probably just have to kill it. It's going to beat us just as soundly as a Titan will, really. But we'll wait and see what else they've got. This is a game where a lot of our... Jeez, another... Oh, God. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're just losing to the rest. We're losing to the rest of their deck. Now we've got a trophy amulet. Okay, sure. I mean, we'll do it because we need to do it to stay alive, but they get another land off of this. It's pretty much as bad as you could imagine. And then some. So we're dead. I don't know what our out is at this point. This is a game where a lot of our stuff like Grudge and Kolaghan's Command would have lined up really well. Plague Engineer, not going to cut it. So let's begin with Peatland. Let's take a Lily up, see if you've got an Obstinate Baloth. They don't. They don't. It's a miracle. Okay, they got Talaria West. Good enough for me. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. What a bad feeling to lose to these big mana decks. Like, I don't get this bad feeling when I lose against, like, humans or Burn. Really don't. It's just like, they go so far over the top of you. And I think we were pretty unlucky to lose that one overall. But, again, these are bad matchups we're facing, so my morale is actually pretty high. The only reason I'm a little bit just like disappointed is because I don't own the Okos, so it's not like I can repeatedly, right now at least, play this deck a few times over for you guys and really show you it crushing decks, which I do think it does. I think what we have to do from this is take the good games, the good close games that we're seeing and enjoy those, but also realize that we've been against 4 bad matchups and we're still hanging tough. We're still hanging tough with Moist Jund. And we get a no-lander, get them all. Okay, we have a very painful keep here, but it is a keep. I'm kind of tempted to bottom trophy, just because, like, if our life total matters, we're probably not winning anyway. So I think we bottom trophy, and I think we lean on our more powerful in a vacuum Confidant. Opponent says, hi there. Hi there. Back at you. Good luck and have fun. Yeah, so it would be the ultimate irony if I was just lamenting our bad matchups and then we run into like a hyper aggro deck here where we've just got Thoughtseizes and Bobs and fetch lands. That would be a little bit rough. We almost want to play one of the worst matchups right now, insofar as our hand lines up. I don't know if I want to play it again insofar as my own enjoyment goes, but I always subordinate my own enjoyment in favor of the results. And in favor of the content. So, Flamekin Harbinger, this is Elementals. Okay, haven't seen this in forever. It is an aggro deck. Okay, so this is a 1-1 that just tutors. And not a very good lightning bolt target. Unsettled Mariner. I just like, I don't know. I just talked my way through the turn and didn't even Thoughtseize. I thought we were on the draw. My bad, guys. That was pretty horrific. We're going to Thoughtseize now, I guess. Hey, you know what? We saved our life total. Thunderkin Awakener. Lightning Skelemental. Alright. So we're going to take Skelemental, and we're going to bolt the Awakener that they play next turn. If they play Mariner instead, then that's fair enough, but we'll just have to slow roll a little bit more. But hopefully they just kind of go for it here. So next turn we get to bolt their Awakener. We kind of want to keep drawing lands, and we have. Nice. So the tax of Mariner is annoying here, but we definitely cannot afford to play the Bob out yet, because then they get Skelemental back. This is the combo. Awakener buying back Skelemental. Opponent says, thanks you too, I'll try even if you stomp me. Well, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough, OP. Okay, here comes Spark Elemental, and they got another land, so are they just going to dump out the whole hand here? They will. So this is the right thing to do, I think, but it's also pretty good for us, because it would have been real awkward if they slow-rolled this, but... Oops. So now the problem is, as I identified earlier, we've got a painful progression against a hyper-aggro deck. But we have drawn our fourth land, which is pretty good. Bloodbraid Elf, definitely the play here. Even though we could cascade into something that gets blown out by Mariner, we just got to do it anyway because it's way better than Bob's, and hope we hit like a Tarmogoyf. Oh, called it. Sweet. I guess Tarmogoyf holds the line well enough that we're supposed to attack and race. Make no mistake, it's basically a top deck war because our Bobs are pretty dead. Kolaghan's Command, heck of a top deck. So I guess we're just going to draw step K-Command them. Killing Mariner, forcing them to discard. Or if we want to be more proactive about it, we could just hit the Mariner and maybe the Ether Vial now, or hit the Mariner and shock them. Or no, we can't. Yeah, it'd be Mariner and Vial. I don't know. I think we attack with Goyf and not with Bloodbraid, and then we are going to do the draw step play, I suppose. Okay, so I have never encountered this before, but it just occurs to me that Kolaghan's Command might actually get blown out by the Mariner because it's going to target twice. And there's no way to not have it target. Unless I'm misinterpreting this, but I've never encountered this before. So I think what's going to happen is we are going to target two separate things. Two triggered abilities are going to go on the stack, and the whole thing gets countered. So we are actually priced into doing this instead, and therefore I probably should have attacked with Bloodbraid Elf as well. But that's all right. We'll just play one. I think playing one is better than playing both. Like if we play both, we could just so easily lose to our own Bob triggers in this deck, especially. Kind of need to draw the fifth land now to make K-Command good, again, if my interpretation of that is correct. Looks like the opponent top-decked another something here. Another Mariner? Okay, so now K-Command is pretty much just dead. As far as I can tell. So let's draw some cheap stuff. We drew a Fatal Push. It's pretty good. Yeah, I'm just going to push one of them here. like attacking with Bob here. We have to attack with Goyf. We have to race them. And I like putting across 6 damage because now we're forcing them to block next turn. And if they don't, maybe Kolaghan's Command or something can finish them off, like even if we make the same attack. And I like leaving a 3-2 back because trading with Mariner is good, and obviously just eating the Harbinger in combat is probably good. Spark Elemental. I think we just take this hit. Like saving 2 life would be what we're doing here. Bob flips Inquisition. All you can really say for it is that it's painless. Let's cast a Bloodbraid. Or mostly painless, that is. Oko. Yeah. Do we make Bob an Elk right now? If we make Bob an Elk right now, that's actually pretty sweet. I kind of like it. So, how can we lose this game at this point? I don't think we lose if we just attack like this. We probably don't even lose if we attack like this. I don't know what their deck looks like, but let's be extremely cautious here. Then we'll have lethal next turn. Making Bob an Elk. He's bigger than the board, and he's not going to kill us with his trigger. Alright. Pretty cool synergy there. That'll do it. Opponent super polite. You love to see it. Mad Cat. Shout out to you, Mad Cat. If you ever see this, I really appreciate the positive attitude here. And there is the concession. So, Elementals is not a deck I've seen since a couple cards, I guess in Modern Horizons really made it, and maybe right after really put it on the map. Haven't seen it lately, don't really know what it's about besides the things that we saw. I think Nile Spellbomb's good because they get a lot of value out of the graveyard. Don't know if we want to go so far as to bring in Ashiok, though. Might be too slow and too limited and too hard to protect. I think we'll play Vraska. The life gain and the abrupt decay effect is good. And I don't think we want Surgical, but I want Brutalities and Plaguemen. Plagueman especially, naming Elemental, they play a lot of X1s. Very nice. So I suppose these 6 cards are what we're after. I suppose we're going to cut Thoughtseizes and Bob, even though, hey, Bob was good there. Bob was good there in a bad spot. But let's cut him. What else don't we like? Not entirely sure. Everything else seems pretty fine. You know, there's very little that I want to cut. So I am considering just cutting a Bloodbraid Elf and lowering our curve. We'd still have to find one more cut. That might be wrong, but again, I don't really see anything else. Are we supposed to play with only 2 Liliana maybe on the draw? That seems fine. I think everything else is a little bit better. I would consider cutting a Renin 6 before a Bloodbraid Elf, possibly, but it does ping all the X1s pretty darn well. So it's tough for me to say. I think we're going to cut Bloodbraid and Liliana. Might not be correct, but we are bringing in another 4-drop, so we're not really losing the top-end power so much. And the rest of our deck looks spicy. Looks like fire. Looks like hot fire to me, my friends. Can you tell that I'm happy to be playing a non-big mana deck? Feels good. Feels good. Elementals, I've been on the receiving end of some really explosive starts, though. If those Skelementals connect, it's kind of GG for a deck like ours a lot of the time. Opponent will keep 7. Yeah, as will we. It's a nice curve. Okay, no turn 1 play. So our curve gets even better. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. There would be some incentive in that regard to play Raging Ravine. However, I think they're definitely playing something on turn 2 because they didn't have a turn 1 play. So instead, we'll just bolt, and then we'll still be able to curve out by going Wrenn and 6 tick up. Alternatively, if they just play an X1, we can just ping it with Wrenn. Okay, it's the Mariner, so now instead we just have to bolt that next turn. So they are doing it. They are making us have some stuff here. So kind of like getting Stomping Ground here, I guess. Maybe Stomping Ground and Watery Grave together is the way to go. To cover all of our bases. I just don't know. Alright, let's plan to bolt this turn. We definitely want to hold it up in case they, we can't get hit by the Skelemental, basically. But now that they've moved to the beginning of combat, I'm just going to Lightning Bolt here. It's a card we definitely want to kill in this matchup. But it's very important to interact after they've moved to combat because they have haste threats, and some of the haste threats get value out of the yard. Unsettled Mariner number 2. Yeah, kind of annoying. So we can just jam Oko and make a food and start forcing them to direct attacks that way. I think that's actually pretty good. Let me look up Lightning Skelemental real quick. That's going to impact my decision. I think Skelemental's trigger is if it does combat damage to a player. And that way, even if they find their land and they have Skelemental, but they're priced into attacking Oko and we fade the trigger, then that's another reason to play Oko. Yeah, combat damage to a player. So sure, I'm going to jam Oko. Jam Oko, make a food. So now hopefully we're giving ourselves plenty of time and resources with which to stabilize. Okay, is this the Haste Thunderkin Awakener? It sure is. That's pretty annoying. Still can't quite kill Oko, though. Oh, they didn't? Oh, is this not an elemental in the graveyard? Well, the last time I saw this deck, this card wasn't around. So, or no, that's not true. That's not true. But I guess I haven't seen it in the deck. Maybe that's a better way to put it. Anyway, Oko's still around. That's kind of what matters here. So, I suppose... yeah, it's... Bloodbraid Elf is a little high risk, again, because it can be... we could cascade into a spell that gets countered by Mariner. So let's just make an Elk, play Wrenn and 6, and play a Tarmogoyf. Seems good. Go get Forest here. Oh, Forest is already on the field. I forgot we only have one in the deck. So let's get our second black. I'm just staying back here. We have 2 planeswalkers on the field. Just gonna protect him and win the game that way. I'm encountering a lot of little situations that I've never encountered before. I would prefer to learn these things off camera, but hey, you know, we're all learning together. Or again, as I said earlier, maybe some of you have seen these interactions before, but you know, you can't see it all on your own. That's why we love bringing you this content. What is triple red? It's not the Skelemental. Or is it? Did they tap in correctly? Green, blue. Is this that Risen Reef card? I don't even remember necessarily what that does. It is, okay. 1/1. Another good target for Plague Man. Or not a target, just a good prey for Plague Man. ETBs, look at the top card. If it's a land, you put it on the field tapped. If you don't, it goes into the hand. So they got an island off of that. Okay. So we can obviously just kill this, but they do have some ways to buy it back. I guess that's part of why the deck is good. Also, we are having to pay to target that, right? So why don't we cast Bloodbraid Elf here? I should have played Verdant Catacombs so I could go fetch a basic swamp, probably, if I do need to pay the 1. But whatever. Fatal Push. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and push the Mariner here. Once again, I see no need to be any more aggressive than this. I just want to protect my life total and my planeswalkers, and I don't think we can lose. Really. Nice hit off Bloodbraid Elf, obviously. Fatal Push. Pretty big game there. I've probably been vacillating between calling this card Mariner and Mariner. I think it's Mariner, but you know me and my pronunciation. They're not always on point. As the comment section are, denizens are happy to remind me. And I appreciate that, you know. I don't want to be going around saying things the wrong way. That's not how we like to do it. I mean, opponents still got a full grip. They've got a lot of mana at their disposal. They've got Risen Reef in the graveyard for graveyard shenanigans. Our board is immensely strong, but again, we just don't want to throw this game away. Opponent definitely deep in the tank, though, and that's not a criticism. I'm behind. I'm the one behind on the clock. I'm the one been tanking over a few different decisions here, but This is a crucial stage of the game, it feels, for the opponent. They really have to put something good together here. They've got to stop the value train somehow. Some way, somehow. I expect Goyf to be bigger most times in this matchup. It's only a 3-4 right now. Shriekmaw. Oh boy. Well, there goes Goyf. That is some spice. That is some spice indeed. Now, that's not something they can buy back for the turn with Thunderkin Awakener. At least maybe, unless if they have an Anthem effect on Awakener, they could. So they're just going to buy back the Reef to get more card advantage. And to get another point of damage across somewhere, right? This comes back attacking. Yeah. Alright, so our Elk is going to take down the Awakener to stop this loop. We'll see what the opponent finds. Go whatever it is goes to the hand. They're both coming at Oko. So obviously Oko looking like our MVP right now. Not entirely surprising, is it? Okay, second main, 3 mana at their disposal. What's it going to be? Voice of Resurgence. That is an elemental. I'll have to remember to play around that. And Ether Vial, sure. Okay. Unfortunately, we do just kind of continue flooding here. Just make another Elk. And we're going to say go. There's no reason to attack. We got to respect their ability to, you know, Shriekmaw our board, things like this. And we don't, you know, we don't need to give them this 2-for-1 of any kind with voice. Again, we're the one with the Planeswalkers. We block that well. We block so well. We should out top deck them in theory, but we have been flooding very, very badly, to be honest, without any of the friendly, Ren and 6 friendly loops like Peatland or more. Okay, opponent cracking, looking for action. Making Voice of Resurgence and Elk might be on the cards sometime. But honestly, just an army of Elks lines up pretty well against their deck, so I don't know how priced we are into doing that. It's not like we have a lot of, not like they have a wide board, right? Not like we have a lot of instant speed interaction that it's blowing out. You know, that's just not how this game's going. I think under most circumstances, this final match would be one that goes really quickly. So as it is, it's not. I hope you're enjoying this, my friends. I hope this last match is not dragging on for you. Omnath, Locus of the Royal. Oh, I even missed this earlier revealed card. So they have a Lord in hand, Incandescent Soulstoke, and Omnath. Deals damage to any target equal to the number of elementals you control. Wow. Wow, well, I guess we probably have to make that thing an Elk. It's gonna, I guess, kill our Bloodbraid Elf right now, or maybe get spicier with how it targets, but yeah, just taking the kill. So yeah, this is gonna buff their elementals and then eventually be a draw engine. So I suppose we have to make that an Elk. Tarmogoyf, a good draw. A good draw. I'm just psyching myself out here. Let's make sure we have a mountain to get first. I think we do. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't going about things the wrong way. We'll attack with just the Ravine now. I'm very cool trading this for something. If not, we're cool getting 4 damage through. Having a nice mana-efficient turn. Because we get to follow up with a Goyf, which is a good draw. We get to make their top-end thing an Elk. And I think we might just be pinging the opponent with Ren, because then next turn 2-3 power things connecting plus a ping is lethal. That's one reason why attacking with Ravine there was pretty good. I don't even know what the other ability on this is. So it's a 2-2 Lord for 3. That can... yeah, put something into play if it's an elemental from hand. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so they got another Vial, 2 unknown in hand. Inquisition, I was just about to say, I wonder if they have anything terrifying in hand we should be concerned about. Let's find out. 2 lightning skelementals. Okay. So the problem with sending them all in is that the Voice of Resurgence and the Skelemental cracking back are pretty great. So I actually think once again I'm going to attack very conservatively like this. And we left red open because we kind of wanted them to block with something, even if it's just an Elk. Because that now prices them into playing around our Lightning Bolt. I'm going to keep pinging. And I'm going to make a food, you know, gaining... We lose 1 to go get our swamp with Catacombs, but we also gain 3. If they have a really nutty turn, that could be the difference between winning and losing, I guess. If not, it's just another way to keep going wide. Other option, of course, was to turn one of these things into an Elk. Don't think that's really necessary. This has turned into quite the complicated game. We've been ahead pretty far, but I think we've been right to kind of play as cagely as we have. Like, it's possible we would have lost by now if we were a little bit more cavalier at some points in this game. Again, I hope this one isn't dragging out too long for you guys, but it's an interesting one to say the least, I think. I'm already down to 9 minutes on the clock, so if they do somehow take us to game 3, well, you know, I'll have to buck up my ideas. So we should be able to finish them off here with Oko. You know, we can take away their voice or something. Or take away the Soul Stoke, whatever we think is better. Swap it with a food token. Could be good. OP says thinking. Thinking, then passing. We do have another tomb to get. I guess we'll go get it. Ren and 6. Alright, let's begin by trying to kill this with pings, I guess. Get a little blown out if they have another Soul Stoke to Violin, but then I guess we could elk that and kill it. Oh, that thing gets sacrificed on the end step. Hellspark Elemental? Sure. Oh, this thing's summoning sick, huh? So they have Skelemental to Violin. It gained the life. So they have that to Violin. So they Violet in, they block. They're not dead. I guess the super safe thing to do is, again, just only attack with Ravine. Again, shouldn't really be possible to lose from here. Well, it's been quite the journey. I think we finally got him, my friends. I think we finally got him. I don't know what they could possibly have here. And they're gonna keep at it, huh? They're gonna keep after us. Make us execute the kill. And we don't get anything to make it any easier. Well, we're just going for it. And we will attack with everything, because even a 2-2 and a 3-3 connecting means the Ren ping is lethal. Yep, here comes the Skelemental, and then what else do you have? A 2-drop, I guess. Another Hellspark Elemental. Well, I'm afraid that's not going to do it. Going to make a food for style points, and then we're going to ping with Ren for lethal. Quite the epic stand from the opponent. But that's going to do it. Longest, probably one of the longest mid-range versus tribal matchups you'll ever see. GG's, have a good one. Again, awesome opponent. Love to see it. Yeah, usually these matches are over a lot sooner. I think maybe a lot of opponents would have actually scooped earlier than our opponent did here, but hey, it was close. It was close. We were very far ahead, but also treaded very carefully. And we did get there, so you know what? I don't know. Elementals is a little bit of a fringe deck, so it's a little bit tough to say how good that matchup is. But beyond, I mean, if anything, Elementals can probably punish our 4-color greed a lot more than a Rock or Jund deck would get punished, rather. And, you know, Oko stabilizing us against aggro decks is all well and good. And granted, if we're kind of far ahead like we were there, then Oko's great. But against all the haste threats of Elementals, you know, a Planeswalker to control their board, not always the best, right? So I think, if anything, Elementals is probably harder for our 4-color deck than, I don't know, than it is for Rock or Jund. So Elementals is probably a fine matchup overall, but not one where we particularly shine, maybe. And then we faced 4 hard matchups. We faced Dredge, where we are a lot softer than Rock to it, because Rock has 3 Scoozes and a ton of green mana. We don't. Jund maybe at least has better mana than this, also has Anger of the Gods sometimes. We don't. And we faced 3 big mana decks. We faced Eldrazi Tron and Amulet twice. So coming out of that gauntlet with 3 and 2, especially because I felt we were very lucky to lose the Amulet Titan matchup, and because our Dredge opponent drew really well. Granted, we had good variants too, but I'm just saying, overall, I think this Moist Jund deck, this 4-color greed fest, value fest, greatness at any cost fest, is actually a lot better than I would initially have wanted to admit. I gotta be honest with you guys, even though I had a ton of fun playing this list, I don't really love seeing the 4-color lists, just because I'm such a rocker. I'm so happy when green-black rock, the 2-color deck, is good, that, you know, even playing Jund is like, okay, well, I'm bending my own preferences a tad, but hey, Jund is sweet. It's been around forever, sure. But now these 4-color decks are starting to crop up. I naturally am biased against them. I naturally want to dislike them. But I really can't, not playing it anyway. Not with Sal's list here. I think, as I said in the deck tech, just playing straight up Oko alone, and also the cards that he chose to cut for Oko, I do co-sign both of these decisions. I do think it's valid. I do think it's viable. I do think it's pretty fun, and we did definitely, no question, see the power of Oko this league. So it was a little bit of a wild and crazy league. Feels bad to have dropped those games in the middle of the league, where our luck took a bit of a downturn, and we just we're just wading through the swamp of all of these big mana matchups and all of these like hyper polarized decks like Dredge and Eldrazi Tron. and we just kind of finally ran out of momentum, couldn't keep winning against the odds, right? But then we came back and finally had a tribal deck to face, an Ether Vial deck to face. We did well there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this league. I think it was a weird one in terms of like some high variance points. The last match going super long was not what I expected, but again, I hope you enjoyed that. And Sal, my friend, I hope you got some extra enjoyment out of this, because this, after all, was for you. So thank you once again to Sal Molacola. Once again, my friends, Ironworks MTG is where you can find Sal's fledgling YouTube channel playing Historic in Arena. I will link that in the description below. Please do go check that out. And thank you once again to all Patreon supporters who do make this content possible. I know I missed a couple lines here that I identified. Maybe there are other lines I missed that you can identify that I didn't mention here. As always, my friends, feel free to share that. Feel free to share your thoughts on 4-color midrange, on what it should look like, on where we should be going with it. If you want to be iterating with this archetype, or I guess the sub-theme of this BGX archetype, if you think it's just worse than Jund, or if you think it's like the way to go, you can always sound off in my comment section. I try to respond to every single comment and give it some real thought. So I will see you there in the comment section, and I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you do stay tuned to this channel, because we're playing more modern BGX in all varieties, as always, in addition to our other projects of Mono Red Prowess and Modern. Eventually, we'll dip back into Pioneer, all that good stuff. I am kind of waiting out the Oko ban in Pioneer personally, but we'll see how it all goes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Everybody out there, have a wonderful day.